Now we'll be doing the packet tracer for module 15, I think. So configure IPv4 and IPv6 static and default routes. Okay. Let's start our name here. Okay. Okay. Wait. gmail.com. Okay. Whatever. Okay. So packet tracer, configure IPv4 and IPv6 static and default routes. Okay. So addressing table, we have the edge router. Okay, with some of the interfaces here. So ISP1, then the ISP2, the PCA. Let's see, where's the PCA and PCB? Okay. And customer server. So objectives. Okay, we don't have. So objectives in this packet tracer summary activity, you will configure static, default, and floating static routes for both IPv4 and IPv6 protocol. Let's see. So configure IPv4 static and floating static default routes. Okay. So configure v6, v4, okay, static default routes to internal LANs. Okay, internal LANs, v4 host routes, and v6 host routes. So the background is, in this activity, you will configure v4 and v6 default static and floating static routes. Okay, so the activity, the routing approach that is used in this lab is used to assess your ability to configure different types of static routes only. This approach may not reflect networking best practices. Okay, so just practice our configuration skills. So instructions is for part 1, configure IPv4 static and floating static default routes. IPv4. Okay, static default routes. Okay. So the PT network requires static routes to provide internet access to the internal end users through the ISP. Okay. So in addition, the ISP routers require static routers to reach the internal LANs. Okay. In this part of the activity, you will configure an IPv4 static default route and floating route default route to add redundancy to the network. Okay. So configure IPv4 static default route. So that is for step 1 of the part 1. So on edge router, so configure directly connected IPv4 default static route. This private default route should be route to router ISP P1. Okay. Edge router. See. Wait. So I will configure directly connected IPv4. So it is through the exit interface. Okay, this primary default route should be through router ISP. Okay. Default static route. Okay. So enable config. So IP route, so it's default. This one should be through ISP1. So what is our network? Edge router. So 10.10.2. Okay, our exit interface is 10.10.10. 10.2. Okay. No. It is directly connected, sorry. It should be this interface. Sorry. Okay. So we have default route without gateway. It's not a point. Okay. Because it's directly connected. Now, for on the edge router, configure IPv4 floating static default route. Should be through router ISP2. Okay. Directly connect static default route. Okay. So we have IP route. So it's a default. Should be through router ISP2. Directly, it's also directly connected. So we have 10.10.6. This serial link. 1 with the administrative distance of 5. Next is for the part 2 is configure IPv6 static and floating static default routes. In this part of TTT, you will configure v6 static default and floating static default routes for IPv6. So step 1 is configure an IPv6 static default route. Let's see. Okay. So step 1 is configure an IPv6 static default route. And edge router configure next hop static default route. Wait. So in this part of activity, you will configure IPv6 static default route. Okay, next hop static default route. Okay, through ISP1. Okay. So IPv6 route. Then it's a next hop. Static default route. So it should be /0 because it's an IPv6. Next hop, and then should be the next hop address for the interface of ISP1 in this network. So it should be this one, 10.10.10. What else? I think that's it. Static default route. IPv6 route. Okay. Because it's not an IPv6. Sorry. So through this one. Next is step 2 is configure an IPv6 floating static default route. So So floating, so IPv6, ISP2, ISP2 10.10.5. No. 1 DB8 A2 resistive okay. Now for part 3 is configure IPv4 static and floating static routes to the internal LANs. In this part of the lab, you will configure static and floating static routers from the ISP routers to the internal LANs. Step 1 is configure IPv4 static routes to the internal LANs. Okay. So ISP1, the router ISP1. So configure next up IPv4 static route to the LAN 1. Okay, with this LAN static route. Okay, and so IP route to this network, which is 192.168.10.16 with its subnet mask 255.255. So 128 is 26, 196 is 25, 26, 27 is 240. Wait, 64, 128 plus 64 plus 32 should be 138. 128 plus 64 plus 32 is equals to 198, 122, 28. Then plus 16 should be 196. 8 plus 16, for example, is 244 plus 8, 252. Is it correct? 25, 26, and 78. Let's see. So this is for 125. So 128 because it's 256. So 128 plus 64 should be 180. Plus 32 should be 224. Plus 16 should be 240. Then 248. Then 252. Okay. So 25, 26, 27, 28. So it's just 28 should be 240. Okay. 25, 255, that 240. Then wait, where are we? So next hop. So our next hop is the edge router here. So which is I think 10.10.10.2. Okay. 10.10.10.2. Okay. Next is for LAN 2. Okay, 192.168.11.11 dot 32. So it stays 27, so 25, 26, 27 should be 224. Or in this also, in this interface. Okay. Next, so configure IPv4 floating static routes to the internal LAN. So on ISP1, configure directly connected floating static route to LAN 1 through ISP2 router. Oh, okay. Configure a directly connected floating static route. It is not a default route. So should be like this also, but with the next sub address of ISP2. No, it's directly connected, so it should be the exit interface of as ISP1 to ISP2. Okay. So we have 198, no, G0/0. G0/0, we set of 5, I think. Where are we? Okay. Then for LAN 2, we also need floating static. So I think also G0/0, 5. Okay. So we have completion 50%. So configure IPv6 static and floating static routes to the internal LANs. IPv6 static routes to the internal LANs. So on ISP1, configure a next hop IPv6 static route to the LAN 1 network through the edge. Okay, static route. So IPv6 route. Next hop IPv6 route through the edge router. So we're going to the LAN 1. Oops. PC1. P/64. Configure next hop IPv6 route through our port through our route. Okay, next up, so through this what is our next hop? So 01 DB8 A1 2. So this is our next hop address. Next hop address. So this is our next hop. Our V6 network. Okay. Then on ISP1, next hop. Wait. Through the edge router. Okay. Our LAN 2 is 201 DB8 1.11. Just need to change this one. Okay. Next is configure IPv6 floating IPv6. Okay. So on SP1, configure a next hop IPv6 floating. Next hop. So our next hop would be the IPv6 interface of ISP2. Okay. ISP2. So we have the interface of 201, DB8, A2, and oops, wait, DB8, 201, DB8, FF. Is F. Okay. Now for PC, okay. Oops. No. You should delete this. What? Where are we? Should be with an administrative value of 5. Okay. Next is, I think this is for 11. Okay. Should be able to ping web server from the host on LAN 1. Okay, let's see. Ping the what? Web server. Let's see if we can ping that. Let's see, wait, I'll reply later. So ping. And then 8.0.0. Okay, we can ping that. I will not just reply. Oops. Okay. So what they say if the link is I think this is our primary link. Okay. Oh. Let's see. We can ping that.
Magligo na!
Okay. Ito reply. Okay, let's see. Wait. Where are we? IPv6. On this, step 5. Let's see, just... Okay. Okay, where are we? Wait. Wait. Where are we? So configure host route. So users on corporate network frequently access a server that's owned by an important customer. So this part of activity you will configure static host routes in the server. One route will be floating static route to support the ISP connections. Okay, on edge router, configure IPv4 directly connected host route to the customer server. Okay. Okay, let's see. So IPv4, so it should be IP route. Then the IPv4 address. Then 255. I think that's it. Wait. Through the directly connected. So through what? There should be host. No. I think in this LAN ISP Okay. So we also need customer service. So we have the ISP2. So 10.10.5. Wait. With the administrative. Okay. So configure IPv6 source routes. Okay. We have the 87. So IPv6 route. We need the IP address DB8 F and 10/128, and then so through the ISP1 the serial link, so 201 DB8 A dot with 201 DB81 okay, and then from the ISP2 it's also a serial link 1 DB8 A21. Let's ensure it off. Okay, we have now completed 100%. So I hope you learned something. Let's check results. So we also completed. So that's it.